There is a silent signal broadcast across the generations. It is not written in books, nor is it spoken in the languages of men. It is transmitted through the subtle contortions of a face, the tension in a hand, the unspoken heaviness in a room. We call it heritage. We call it personality. But if we look closer, with the unblinking eye of truth, we might call it infection. You wake up one day, perhaps in your middle years, and you look in the mirror. The face looking back is yours, yet the expression belongs to a ghost. It is your father's furrowed brow. It is your mother's anxious lip. You have become the very thing you swore to escape. This is not an accident of biology. It is the architecture of the human soul under the weight of history. We must begin by understanding the nature of innocence. When a child enters this theater of existence, they arrive without a script. They are pure potential, a vessel of light, possessing a direct, intuitive connection to reality. They see things as they are, not as they are named. But this innocence is fragile. It is like a flame in a windstorm. The child is born into a world of giants, parents, guardians, authorities, who are themselves wounded. These giants were once children too, broken by the giants before them. It is a cascade of trauma, a waterfall of unresolved grief and hidden resentment stretching back to the very dawn of consciousness. The tragedy is not that the parents are evil, it is that they are asleep. They are acting out a program, a mechanical sequence of reactions driven by their own pain. And the child, desperate for survival, desperate for the warmth of love, tunes their instrument to the frequency of the parent. If the parent is anxious, the child learns that safety lies in hypervigilance. If the parent is angry, the child learns that love is a transaction of placating a tyrant. This is where the fracture occurs. To survive, you split from your true self. You construct a mask. You build an avatar designed to navigate the minefield of your home. You learn to perform. Consider the metaphor of the bank. Imagine your soul is a vault, pristine and secure, but the people guarding the bank, the tellers, the managers, the security, have been compromised. They have been whispered to by a darkness, convinced that the only way to survive is to embezzle, to cheat, to fear. You, the innocent depositor, walk in, trusting the structure, but the corruption is in the walls. You are pulled into the scheme. You didn't ask for it. You didn't start it. But suddenly, you are an accomplice. This is the nature of growing up in a world of judgment. You absorb the judgments of your caretakers until their voice becomes your inner monologue. This internal voice, this critic, is what many call the conscience, but it is often a counterfeit. It is not the voice of God. It is the echo of the father, the shadow of the mother. It tells you that you are not enough. It tells you that you must work harder, smile brighter, suffer more to earn your place on this earth. And so, you begin the labor of Atlas, carrying a world that was never yours to hold. You become a slave to approval. You seek love in the very places where it is absent. You try to squeeze water from a stone, thinking that if you just squeeze hard enough, if you are just good enough, the stone will yield. But the stone remains a stone, and you remain thirsty. Why do we hold on to this suffering? Why do we cling to the burning coal of resentment? It seems counterintuitive. If it hurts, drop it. But we do not drop it. We nurse it. We feed it. We protect it. We must ask the terrifying question, what are we getting out of it? There is a dark secret in the human heart. We prefer the intoxication of judgment to the humility of forgiveness. When you judge another, when you look at your parent, your boss, your spouse, and you dissect their flaws, you feel a surge of power. For a moment, you are not the victim. You are the judge, the jury, and the executioner. You are superior. This feeling of moral elevation is a drug. It is an opiate that numbs the pain of your own inadequacy. It blinds you to your own reflection. As long as you can point the finger at the darkness out there, you do not have to face the darkness in here. This is the trap of the ego. It builds a fortress of grievances. I am the one who was wronged, it says. I am the righteous sufferer. And in this suffering, there is a perverse identity. If you were to let go of your anger, if you were to drop the narrative of the victim, who would you be? The silence that follows that question is what terrifies us. We would rather be in pain and know who we are than be free and face the unknown. But let us look deeper into the mechanism. Anger is stress. Physiologically, it is a flood of cortisol and adrenaline. It is a state of war. When you hold resentment toward your parents, you are keeping your body in a state of perpetual combat against a ghost. Your parents may be old, they may be dead, they may be miles away. But in your mind, the war rages on. You are still that 6-year-old child, trembling in the kitchen, trying to make sense of the chaos. You are acting out a play that ended decades ago. This judgment you hold is a double-edged sword. You judge them for their weakness, but in doing so, you bind yourself to that same weakness. You become what you hate. It is a law of the spiritual universe. What you resist persists. By focusing your emotional energy on the flaws of the parent, you imprint those flaws onto your own psyche. You vow never to be like them, and in that very vow, you cement their image in your mind. You become an inverted reflection, which is still a reflection. The rebel is as controlled by the tyrant as the slave is. Both are reacting. Neither is free. We see this in the professional world, in the way we work. Take the healer, the therapist, the helper. Many are drawn to these professions not out of pure altruism, but out of a desperate need to fix the broken parent. They see patients who are non-compliant, angry, broken, and they take it personally. They work themselves to the bone, trying to save people who do not want to be saved. Why? Because deep down, they are still trying to save their father. They are still trying to heal their mother. Every failure to cure the patient feels like the original failure of the child. And so, the resentment grows. The helper begins to hate the helpless. The cycle of judgment renews itself, disguised as charity. How then do we break the chain? How do we stop the signal? It is not through effort. It is not through trying to be a better person. Trying to be good is often just another form of vanity. It is the ego trying to polish its own image. The solution lies in a different direction entirely. It lies in the direction of truth, no matter how painful. You must see the innocence in the guilt. This is a difficult concept for the logical mind, which craves justice. But look at your parents again. Look at the people who hurt you. Were they truly powerful, malevolent gods? Or were they confused, frightened children in adult bodies, acting out a script they did not write? They were infected by their own ancestors. They were asleep at the wheel. To see this is not to excuse the behavior, but to understand the mechanics of the machine. A machine cannot help but be a machine. When you realize that they could not have done otherwise, the fire of anger runs out of fuel. There is nothing left to burn. This brings us to the metaphor of the intuitive child, the one who knows when a gift is a trap. Imagine a child offered a present by a grandparent, but the child senses the strings attached. The gift is not love, it is a bribe. It is a demand for compliance. The social script says, be polite, take the gift, kiss the cheek. But the spirit says, no. To reclaim your soul, you must find the courage of that child. You must be willing to be seen as bad by the world in order to be true to reality. You must be willing to endure the anger of others without reacting. This is the crucible of grace. When you can stand in the presence of someone else's dysfunction, their anger, their manipulation, their madness, and not absorb it, you are free. You do not judge them, nor do you submit to them. You simply observe. I see you are angry, you might say, internally or externally. But you do not drink the poison. You do not let their storm enter your house. This requires a death. You must let the pleaser die. You must let the good person die. You must let the victim die. Suffering then becomes a tool. It is not a punishment from a cruel deity. It is the friction required to wake you up. If you were comfortable in your sleep, you would never seek the light. The pain of your resentment, the exhaustion of your people-pleasing, the hollowness of your victories, these are alarm clocks. They are ringing to tell you that the house is on fire and it is time to leave. There is a state of being that exists before the programming. It is the stillness between thoughts. It is the wordless word. In this state, there is no history. There is no, my father did this, or my mother failed me. There is only the immediate, vibrant present. To enter this state, one must learn to watch the mind without believing it. When you close your eyes and look into the darkness, what do you see? Do you see fear? Do you see memories? These are just clouds passing through the sky. They are not the sky. You are the sky. The practice of detachment is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It is about becoming vast. When you are vast, the arrows of the world cannot hit you. They pass through you like birds through open air. But we are afraid of this vastness. We are afraid of the silence. In the silence, we cannot hide from God. We cannot hide from the truth of what we have become. This is why we fill our lives with noise, with work, with relationships that mirror our trauma. We are running from the confrontation with the self. But the confrontation is the only way out. You must be willing to stand naked before the truth, stripped of your grievances, stripped of your story. This is true repentance. Repentance is not groveling in the dirt. It is a turning around. It is a change of mind. It is waking up from the nightmare of the ego and realizing that you never left the bed. You are safe. You have always been safe. The damage was done to the avatar, not to the soul. The soul is untouched by the fire. It is like gold. The fire only melts away the impurities. When you finally drop the judgment of your parents, a miracle occurs. You stop judging yourself. The harsh voice in your head, the one that drives you to exhaustion, the one that tells you you are a fraud, falls silent, because that voice was never yours. It was the echo of the infection. When the host dies, the virus dies. When you stop worshiping the idol of resentment, the temple collapses and you are left standing in the open field of grace. Part 5. The Walking Dead and the Living Soul. Look around you. The world is filled with the walking dead. People driven by unseen forces, acting out scripts written by ghosts. They are hungry for love, but they are eating ash. They are desperate for peace, but they are preparing for war. You do not have to be one of them. You can step out of the line. But be warned, when you step out of line, when you stop playing the game, the others will not like it. Your freedom will offend their slavery. Your light will irritate their eyes. They may call you cold. They may call you selfish. They may try to pull you back into the crab bucket. This is the test. Can you hold your ground? Can you love them without needing them to understand you? Can you forgive them for not forgiving you? This is the ultimate maturity. To be a father to your own father. To be a mother to your own mother. Not in the physical sense, but in the spiritual sense. To view them with the compassion one has for a suffering animal. You do not hate the wolf for biting. It is a wolf. You do not hate the storm for destroying. It is a storm. You simply understand. And in that understanding, the cord is cut. The journey is from the head to the heart. Not the emotional heart that weeps and wails, but the spiritual heart that sees and knows. The emotional heart is volatile. It is the seat of storms. The spiritual heart is the eye of the storm. It is calm. It is constant. It is where God resides. Not the God of religion, not the God of rules and punishment, but the living presence of reality itself. So let the dead bury the dead. Let the past dissolve into the mist. You are here now. The air in your lungs is new. The blood in your veins is yours. You are not your father's failure. You are not your mother's fear. You are a unique event in the universe, waiting to happen. But to happen, you must stop reacting. You must stop waiting for the apology that will never come. You must stop trying to rewrite the ending of a book that has already been closed. Write a new book. Start today. The pen is in your hand, but only if you open your fist and let go of the stone you have been clutching for so long. Drop the stone. Feel the lightness of your hand. This is grace. It has been waiting for you all along.